There it is, the Alesis Strike Pro SE. 1 year after the purchase of this thing, boys and girls of all ages, I'm going to do my review 1 year into it. Some things have changed with my setup, my whole process, and I've learned a few things in that time. So I'm going to share that with you in this video. Before we get on with the video, I always want to show you my new sign for your garage. I like these things, and you know, this one though I had to get. It's mandatory. The hippies use the back door, no exceptions. We don't want these fuckers in the garage, okay? Anyway, here is the kit. Unfortunately, I don't feel like pulling this car out of the garage to get a frontal view. So this is about what it's gonna look like for the video. I can't get an actual front of it. So some good pictures here, the kit, the setup, and underneath. Check it out, you know. That's how I do it. You know, there's a good view of the bottom, everything around it. There's the top. That's how I had my cymbals set up. I kind of played with that experiment. I had everything a little bit lower, higher. Cymbals, I had them separated. I had them higher and lower, and this works for me. Obviously, everybody has their own style, but you know, that's what works for me. Here's a view of this side. You know, the kick is directly in front. It's not offset or anything. So yeah, that's my own little personalized setup. You know, a year later. Let's dive into it and talk about the kit and what we got going on. So obviously I'm a big proponent. You probably guys have watched my other video before. I like keeping this thing clean. You know, I'm always like cleaning things up, and even I have that video where I bought this this awesome cover. It's like weighted. It wasn't even 20 bucks. You know, Chinese junk. But that goes over it, you know, treat it like a regular kit. You know, I'm in the garage here, unfortunately, and I don't know where you guys put your stuff, but in the process of moving into another house, and we're gonna have our own rooms, and you know, for this stuff. So you know, it serves a purpose out here in the garage, but man, it's gonna be 102 degrees here in Texas all week, so this is brutal. So hence that's why I got that fan going. That helps out a lot. But man, and then oh, it's wicked. Like I said, you can drop 10 pounds easily out here playing this thing. But let's see. So where do you want to start with this thing? So what I did, I played. You know, I checked the module out. You know, I went through my own sound. I dove deep with the sounds, and you know, that like I said in other, let's fire it up. You have to really figure out your own sounds, and the bulk of your work, like I said, is going to be figuring out this module, playing with it. Whether you learn the manuals or like I did, I looked at the manual for some stuff, but you're just going to get in there and fool with the stuff. You know, it's limited with like compression and EQ settings, and you can't manually tweak each cymbal, each kick, snare, whatever drum. You can't do that in a way that professional mixing setup you could do it, but you can get away with tweaking this thing if you get in there and figure some things out. I'm not going to go over that, but yeah, so that's that. Again, one thing I did, I had an issue with my old, you know, I don't cheap out with getting the hardware. I had to get a double hi-hat stand with the two legs here because I had an issue, because I have a double bass pedal. I had an issue with the generic legs going over the top. So you have to look for one. If you have a double bass pedal set up like I do, you know, I got the DW3000, which is a good kick drum. So invest in a, you know, a dual leg hi-hat stand, and I got a good one there. I'll put the link in there. It's by DD Drums. So I'm sorry, D Drums. Yeah, DD Drums, whatever. But anyway, you know, make sure I had an issue with the trigger. You know, I didn't know, hey, why is my beaters to the side? It's not lining up. And it turns out it's not the trigger. The trigger is situated right. It turns out it's the pedal. And if you guys are really meticulous about having both the beaters line up, see how that kind of doesn't line up on the trigger, but the actual trigger is this circle up here. You can see it in the shadow. So this actually isn't the trigger. So I learned that you can just get a pedal offset device for this thing, and you can basically tilt the beater. So it's not the kick drum, it's your pedal if you have that issue. Now, I'm not the only one that has that problem. So that was one thing that I had to do. Definitely get the flam. I tested out a couple damn flam patches, and a lot of them suck, but this one's good. This one sticks on there, and it's more of like a felt. It's not plastic. It's like a rubber felt, so it sticks on there even in the heat and even in the winter. So I got a couple of those. And flip your beaters, you know, that was an issue too. So that's with the kick drum. Another thing, get these in-ears. They're this model. It's a KZ ZS10s, and it has a frequency of 7,000 hertz to 40,000. So that is a great in-ear monitor. I had another one. It started literally at 15,000 hertz up to I think 30, and man, when you get these though, you know there's a noticeable difference. I mean, everything punches inside the kit in your ear so you can play along to whatever you're doing if you're jamming out with other people or whatever. But yeah, I recommend getting a really good pair of monitors. Forget about those over the ear, you know, ones. These you just tuck right in your ears. Do like a professional setup. Forget about wedges. Forget about buying that maybe Alesis wedge to put at the side of your drums, because I tried that with really like a shitty Bluetooth speaker. I have two of these and I tried that. These aren't really ideal drum monitor speakers because you need the low end punch. But even that, it's just a more old school way of doing it now. Everybody has in-ears and everything's going direct. So there's just, I've experienced too much noise doing it that way, and you just kill your ears. So a workaround with that too is basically get maybe if you can afford it, get a bunch of these. These are like 45 bucks, but you can get the less expensive ones if you want to play in front of people, you know, in your studio, your garage, or whatever. You can literally get a splitter box like I did. Now this one only holds 4, but you know, you can get a real good one that holds 8 or more headphones, and you just basically run the out from the module in here, and then you can basically run cables that are attached to headphones to like as many people as your splitter will hold. So I mean, they get a great concert-like studio experience, and plus you're not gonna piss off the neighbors either. It's all in ear, and you can literally, like, we have parties here and we line up people, and you know, we all like jam out, and you know, you impress your friends or whatever. Bring your girlfriend over, or some chick you're dating, and impress her. Whatever, you get the idea. So that's one thing that I did that really improved my whole experience. You know, forget about the drum monitors. You're just gonna kill your ears with that. So that's my take on that. Also too, I'm not gonna go over it, but here's my stand where you've seen some of my drum videos. Pretty much it's gonna go, you know, kind of right here, and I'm gonna be looking here, and then you see my videos where I play covers and whatnot. So I'm not gonna get into that, but you know, that is more of a crude recording experience, direct in. Now this module again is great because it allows you to take each one of the drums and run them to a digital audio workstation, a DAW, whether you got Pro Tools or something else or Logic, doesn't matter, it's all the same. So you're limited in your mixing ability here, you know, you can't really add individual reverb. It just, you can add the reverb to the entire kit. It's kind of like a Bush League limited thing, but you can geek out and go further. You can compress each channel if you run it out into a Pro Tools rig or a DAW or whatever, a Logic, or, you know, whatever your choice is, and then you can really get in there and mix things. You know, that's more of a professional setup. Then you can maybe think about adding camera angles like Delta Empire does and all these professional guys. You know, you got a camera angle down here. You can see the guy, you know, drumming. You got one up top. You know, you've seen it. You've seen them. But, you know, that's a more advanced setup, and you got to invest in a little bit better equipment for that. But the way I do it for now, because there's a limited setup, I have all that studio gear, but, you know, just over your phone direct, and then I mix it up in my Sony Vegas, add a little compression, and it sounds good for now. But obviously, you know, you can take it one step further. But yeah, so that's the recording setup. Let's see, what else could I say? Yeah, you know, and you know, all my links to these headphones and the drum cover and stuff, I'll list them in the description so you guys can check out what I'm recommending here. Get yourself a good throne. Don't cheap out, because I ended up with getting a cheap one before, and it just was like a real piece of crap, and I ended up throwing it out and just spending the money on the good stuff. So just splurge on it. I got this table, obviously, to put, you know, your gear on, and you know, even when you don't play for a while, you can really damage your, you know, you get blisters on your fingers. So I'll put the link for this tape. This actually works, good athletic tape. So every once in a while, your hands will get all messed up, blisters and whatnot. But let's see, what else? Oh yeah, you know what's the funny part about the sticks? I got these ProMark sticks, and it was funny. I you know, a ½ an inch made a difference with me in my playing style around the kit. And I had other ones down there that were a little bit longer, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with these shorter ones. Boy, it made a difference. It really, for me personally, these are ProMark 5A, and they are made in Texas. That's awesome. I think I forget what the length is. Anyway, it was a ½ inch shorter than my other ones, and it just improved my playing style. So just little tweaks like that, you know, are helpful to know. Other than that too, some of the issues I reckon, there's really, you know, this thing's held up for a year, and let me tell you something, I beat the hell out of this thing. I really punish it. I hit hard. I haven't had any issues of the mesh ripping or the rims getting messed up. Everything is still triggering. I haven't had to replace anything. And you could also add more cymbals. I have mine maxed out, but I can just basically split them out. But for me, for my playing style, I don't need extra cymbals. I could, but they're expensive, man. To add another boom arm and to get one of these cymbals, they're not cheap. But I use the rims. I got a splash on the rim here, and I got another cymbal. I think it's like an 18-inch crash here. So crash up top, and then I got a China on the rim here, and I got a bell on this rim. So this one's a China, and I got a nice bell ride, and then your 20-inch ride cymbal. So in addition to the hi-hat. So that's just me. You can split these out. I don't have a video on that. I'll make a video when I get to that point if I decide to do that. Another thing, it's really not, you're gonna have to maintain your stuff every once in a while, but in this will come loose every once in a while where you insert the cable in the cymbal. It's not a big deal, but every once in a while you're just gonna have to check it, because I had that loosen up on some of these, and it's just normal wear and tear, nothing crazy. Make sure you utilize having this this bar here inside. It's like a mechanism to prevent this thing from like spinning around, and then if it spins around, it's gonna mess up the cable. So make sure you place it inside there. Other than that, there's the kit. Not much else to report. This thing's phenomenal. I don't have any regrets with buying this thing. It's just a great kit. I've had so much fun playing this thing, and literally I'm not even compelled to get an acoustic kit because this thing does the trick. Trust me. I really haven't messed with too many sounds. I'm gonna do a separate module on a new sound I discovered. Vinnie Paul, Pantera, he was actually in there. I couldn't believe it. I just stumbled across it. But I'm not one to really make use of all these crazy sounds and stuff like the 80s rock, or, oh, I want a Birch kit, I want this and that. Nah, I tweaked my own rock metal kit, and I pretty much use that. I'm sure people have a million presets in there, but I only have like 3 presets, and I use this main kit. I have another one where you can kind of EQ it a little bit to go live, and then there's another one with Vinnie Paul, Pantera, that I couldn't believe I discovered it. I'm like, this is awesome. I'll do a video on that. So other than that, you know, signal flow, I did it in other videos. I'm not going to bore you guys with that, but this is just a year update, and you know, this thing is held up. I'm shocked. It's good quality. I'm very happy with it for the price. I mean, I don't need no forget the Roland. I mean, if you want Roland, get it. But there's nothing wrong with Roland. But this thing is a great money, cost-effective way to. I'll put this against anybody challenging Roland, because you know, I beat the hell out of this thing. I punished it good, and it is held up. Oh yeah, the only other thing, you know, obviously you do your basic drum tech stuff. Make sure there's nothing loose, the lug nuts, and clean it up. Take care of it. Act like you're a drum kit, you know, out on the road, and you're hired to, you know, really just keep the kit up. Because, you know, a lot of people, I've seen their videos, they're really pigs with their kit. Just wipe the stuff down, clean it off. You know, I have it in the garage here, so I gotta cover this thing up when I get the lawnmower out or whatever. But if you have it inside your house, not a big deal. But still, I will put a cover over it, and it's still gonna get dusty and crap. So that's my advice for that. Just, I'm kind of anal about that. Just be meticulous about it. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, just, you know, run your power. Just make, you know, if you get your cables in order. Don't be a mess. I mean, I have a crude setup here in the house, but, you know, you just get your dedicated power outlets, you know, and, you know, like I said, you know, just make it neat. Other than that, I think I hit everything I wanted to talk about. The only other thing I had seen, which was an issue on my snare drum, it actually isn't really an issue. You just have to maintain it and tighten up, you know, the outside, the rim every once in a while. This tends to come loose, a little floppy, and that may be because I've been just beating the hell out of it. Maybe I'm just playing it too hard. But anyway, it's just basic maintenance. You got to just check your lugs and everything, and make sure that this is tight in the way you want it. Because I had this came really loose one time. And I'm like, oh shit, this is. So you got. I mean, that's really the only thing. Have no issue with any of the triggers. There's no, like, occasionally I'll have this one here. I don't know what's going on with that. It won't trigger, right? It'll like miss a trigger, a hit or two, and then, you know, I basically just unplug it and plug it back in, and then maybe restart the module. But that seemed to take care of it. But anyway, those are just minor things I think that can happen to any kit. So it looks like I did not get a lemon, man. It looks like I got a good one. I know some people wind up with really lemons, and they're like, no, I send it back. I'm never gonna get an Alesis kit. Dude, you can get a shitty one from Roland, Alesis, any of these companies. You can get crappy products that are just faulty. It isn't the brand. You just send it back, call up the warranty department, and they'll fix you up, because you get a warranty with it. And then, you know, wherever you buy this crap from, you'll be able to get an extended warranty. Probably that would be a good investment. But, you know, don't automatically shit on the kit if you just something you get it and it's like, oh, my drum head isn't working, it's not triggering. Well, it's just probably a quick fix. You get it replaced, okay? So chill out with that. It's not Alesis. Okay, same stuff with Roland can happen too. And it's like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna never buy a Roland kit. So what are you gonna do? Just stop complaining and just, you know, fix it. You know, not a big deal. okay? But that's it. I just wanted to give you a year update on the kit and my some changes and tweaks that I made, and my comments after a year of beating the hell out of this thing. Still is holding up and still is fun to play, and you know, it's good quality. It's good quality and it's a good time. So if you're thinking about pulling the plug or getting this kit, go for it. You're gonna save yourself a ton of money, and you have everything you need in here, and you got a really good module that allows you to split out each one of these drum tracks into a digital audio workstation if you get to that point. All right, so give me a thumbs up. Everybody says give me their dumb like and their thumbs up, whatever. Give me thumbs down. I really don't give a shit. I hope this helps, and you know, all you guys just calm down, drink beer, and rock out to Slayer. My first issue I've had in about a year with it, and I'm not gonna go into a long depth thing, but here I got a China programmed in that symbol right there on my kit, and I've been using it for, I haven't changed that up pretty much since I programmed it like about 8 months ago. Anyway, so when I hit the top, the edge and the bow, I got both Chinas in there programmed, so there's no conflict, you know. But when I recently came out here, I've been noticing it's missing a hit. It would go and then dead, and then I'm like, what the hell? And then so it's like kind of skipping over the hit, and then sometimes when you hit it, there's a different trigger in there, like a bell ride, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Because I didn't program any of that. Okay, so that's my first really issue with this kit. I can't believe it. But, and here's my other comment to it. Now, I got this drum kit in a hot garage, and it's literally all week it's been like 105 degrees. I don't want it in a hot garage, but this is the only spot for it right now, because you guys probably know I've been talking about how we're going to move, and it's going to go in its own separate air-conditioned room in a studio. But I don't really have any other choice right now. But I don't know if the heat here in Texas had something to do with it, because I was letting this thing set for a week, and I came out here and I was drumming the other night, and I noticed this. So I don't know, that shouldn't have anything to do with it, but I don't know. But I looked through the module, and I tried everything trying to figure out a setting, retrigger, this, that, or I couldn't do any, I really can't fix it. I don't know what's going on. Could it be the thing's maybe just damaged? But I looked in underneath, and I looked in all the the bolts, tightening everything, the cable, there's nothing wrong with the cable, it's not pinched. So I don't know, this thing works, but then it misses trigger hits. So I'm like, it's the only one out of the bunch. So I don't think it's defective. Could it be this module's being weird because of the hot garage, or maybe is that not an issue, or is it defective? I don't know. There's like crosstalk going on here. I can't seem to figure it out. So I'm looking for a discussion, you guys. Probably people have that same problem on various other symbols. So put it in the comments. Like, I'm looking for a solution on this. Does anybody else have that problem? Because you go on the Alesis website, and the customer service with them is pretty shitty. So and then you go on these forums and you go look at what other people have to say, but everybody gives their ham-handed advice, and nothing really worked for me. So anyway, I'll make a video if I can fix this. I'm looking forward to making a video to fix this to help you guys out. But looking for an answer on that. The trigger misses hits, it jumps, and then it goes to a different trigger, and then it works, and then it's like, and then all of a sudden, what the hell? And then it'll jump back into it. So I don't know where that's coming from. Like I said, it's been in a hot garage here. It's pretty hot, so I don't know. I never had this problem before. So looking for the answer, guys. So put it in the comments if you got similar issues. And so I went around, like I said, real quick. I went around and I looked for any, there was no, I didn't even change any of these cords, so there was nothing going on here screwy, nothing was bent, nothing was pinched, there was no hardware up here that was loose, so, and this thing, nothing fell on it, it wasn't dropped, so I'm thinking, okay, what could this be? So, could it be the weather? I don't know. So, the last resort, I'm like, you know what, let's go back to what you do on a computer if you're having a problem. You power it down, unplug it, and remove the power cable. Sometimes the simplest things like that fixes the problem. So I took advantage of that. So now what I do in the summer, and it actually worked, I basically unplugged the module because I kind of had it in, and I basically powered down everything, took everything out of the wall outlets, and just let it set. And then it drained, I guess there's charges in there. And then I fired it up the next day, and it kind of was working good. Weird, I don't know. That's just what it worked for me. I'm not even saying that's gonna work long term, but I didn't have any issues the very next time I played. So maybe it was just a simple power down, get all that extra juice out of the lines and stuff, and you know, not reset the module, just power it down and unplug it. So whatever that's worth, that did solve my problem with this, with that particular cymbal missing hits, and it was kind of just like getting on my nerves. I had trigger problems with it, but that issue solved my little dilemma there. Okay. Well, let's see. Also, what I did, I tweaked the pedal, tightened the spring tension. You know, just did some preliminary tweaks to make the playing better. I extended the beaters just a bit, raised them up. That helped. Definitely the springs helped with the velocity and my playing ability. You know, when they're tighter, your beater will bounce back and there will be more return. But you give up a little stiffness on the pedal, but when you know, beginning people probably shy away from that, but when you play more, that really doesn't matter too much. But I definitely noticed, my playing with the return on the beater, and spread them out just a tad, made it a little bit better of a feel as far as you know, move the snare a little bit over to the right, move the hi-hat over to the right, definitely spread out the slave pedal and the kick pedal to make just the playing ability better. So that's what it kind of looks like. It's a more natural feel. And I also had to raise, you know, raise my my throne a bit, so I basically am a little bit higher. So I'm not, my legs aren't as flat. Definitely makes a difference. And then I basically had the toms over to the right too far. I had everything shifted over too far. So what I did is I shifted everything to the left, and it just made everything more in line. Other than that, the tweaks I tried making on the hi-hat stand, the dual-legged hi-hat stand, really didn't do anything. They're mainly for when you have a regular hi-hat. So I tried a lot of the tweaks on that. Didn't really do too much. But definitely the thing that made the biggest difference is adjusting the springs. You know, play with your style. You're going to be doing a few things, but you know, like those are some other things I did. Other than that, probably the next thing I'm going to do is add a splash or two and split out some cymbals with the rims, make a cymbal for that, and then maybe split out the dual zone on one of the crash cymbals. So I'm going to do a separate video on that once I get the stuff and the cymbals. Probably off of eBay is what I hear is the best spot to get that stuff, but those are some other things I did. Few other things, your cymbals over time, I don't know how you guys have it, but like this is like a year and a couple months into it now. From wiping it down constantly, it does, the black wears away a little bit. I don't know if that's because I initially put some cleaner on it, but I'm just sticking with just basically water and a rag now. That should be fine. It's not a huge thing, but there's a little bit of wear on that. But other than that, it still looks sharp, you know. That's what it looks like. So you can just see, you know, how I tweak things up from that previous video I did about a year ago. still happy with it, and it's a ton of fun to play.